Hello, hello, my name's GingerDeity, and as you can see, I'm trying something new, so welcome to the Speedpaint. Actually, I wanted to talk about some pranks that I have received, and they're not bad, of course, so don't worry. But I received two rants, and they're mostly circling around the artistic world. And so the first one, I'll show it here. Okay, so I just want to rant here about this because I haven't seen anyone else with the same problem, but I'll say it now. I hate cringe complications on YouTube. Like, my friend's video got posted on one during the stages when they were still learning their style, and seeing it just put her down, and she didn't draw for a while because she felt so discouraged. I mean, most of the complications I have seen haven't been very supportive towards newer artists, and it pisses me off. Like, no actual criticism, just insults. And I do have to agree with that because I have seen some of those myself. Of course, I generally try to watch the more professional people do it because they actually do give criticism that's both constructive and destructive. More so the destructive kind, which is upsetting still because constructive is well needed to actually give criticism. God, I'm gonna be coughing and clearing my throat a bit, sorry. But, like, the fact, like, this person's friend got discouraged because she had so many insults thrown at her for her art style. Like, no, that's not okay. It's actually rather unkind of whoever did that to her because, god fucking damn, like, what is your problem? She's starting out. And in general, opinion of mine is just like, if you're gonna give criticism, make sure to give some constructive criticism to it. Especially if it's towards an actual person. I don't really mind if it's, criticism towards like a movie because they're not gonna fix that. In general, they don't fix it, and so we're stuck with the same terrible stuff. Or books made by important or major people, or just books that people think are okay. Shit's great. But, like, give constructive criticism along with the criticism that you give that is the destructive kind. And I do prefer to watch the more constructive, the more professional ones, because they actually, try to give something more positive, like pointing out that, this isn't that good, you could do better. But that's not quite constructive. A better choice would be like, this, it's not the best. What you could do is this. Like, your structure of the person isn't that great. But what you could do is do some circles, some lines, and, make sure to keep the lines that are for the arms, body, and legs are somewhat curved because a normal person is curved, normal animals are curved, and, just make sure, because, like, I doubt, like, any monsters wouldn't have some sort of curve to them. Like, you got your spinal curve, you got your arm curve, you got your leg curve. It's normal. And it's better to tell someone what they could do to make it better rather than telling them, straight up, you shouldn't even do this. This is shit. I wouldn't even throw this into a volcano because I'm pretty sure it would die consuming this. I'm pretty sure a blind person will go more blind looking at this, and they're already blind. Things like that, that's not okay. It's like, this is so bad, my dog wouldn't even eat it. That's not okay. Towards someone who's learning how to cook, straight up saying that isn't okay. A better option is to be like, put less salt in it. Make sure to bake it to the right time that it needs and at the right temperature. Maybe less sugar. Not so many eggs. The actual amount of flour. More flour if you thought to double everything but not the flour. things like that, that's okay. But straight up saying, this is so bad that, like, it's fucking stupid, isn't okay, and saying things like, oh, God, I'm sorry, I'm coughing so much, but, like, things like, you know, this is so fucking bad that if I were to take this to an actual critic, he would probably throw up looking at it. Just me bringing it into the vicinity of him of 10 feet, he would probably throw up because it's that bad. That's not okay. And you just point out, you know, this isn't that good, but you could do this to improve it. Or, you know, something along the lines of, actually, this is pretty good. There are some flaws, and you can do this to fix those flaws. That's okay to say. I mean, in my opinion, because I've had both destructive and constructive criticism in my life, I even got told off because of my natural eye for being able to sometimes be able to copy images if I'm told to, or if I kind of... It is mostly when I'm told to for art classes, and I don't go to art class anymore, so I don't do it anymore because I don't see a point. But I learned to trust my eye when it comes to details because, you know, your eyes are the best thing about you when it comes to looking at something. And I already need glasses to correct my vision, but I can take a pose by looking at someone and I'll make a new person out of it, or I'll make a new creature out of it, because I'm relying on my eyes. And I was told when I was younger, I got criticized for using, like, my own tools, which were just my eyes, hands, and making sure to try to keep things proportionate. Of course, I was so bad at proportions, there was no point in me trying when I was younger, because it was just like, oh, his head's too big, I don't care anymore. His arm is suspiciously small, I don't give a shit. I was 8 when I was told that I could, you know, trust more in my eye, and then, you know, the skeletal structure of circles, lines, trapezoids, ovals, you know, get the feel with some triangles, you got a person or an animal, and there you go. That was my constructive criticism towards myself from a teacher who actually did like me, because the teachers after that just told me I should never draw. It was great. But, like, constructive criticism actually encourages people, telling them straight up that, like, this is bullshit and you should never do this again, is utterly, that's just horrible. Like, it's not even, I can't even say abusive, it is just nasty, it is cruel, it's unkind, it's uncalled for, and there was no point in being a dick. Now, for the second one that I got, was, okay, delete this if you want, but I feel the need to rant about this. I hate how people always jab at people for making OCs commonly seen as Mary Sue's. Like, who fucking cares if the character is too perfect or overpowered, etc. It's just people having fun making a character for stories, canon or not. Plus, lots of existing fandom characters have traits like that, and people keep their mouth shut about it. But some kids' OC gets abuse because they're the way the person wants it to be. It's annoying. And I have to agree with that myself, because, oh my god, I have seen so much criticism towards people with Mary Sue's and Auntie Sue's. I'm going to throw Auntie Sue's in there because they're the opposite of Mary Sue's. Auntie Sue's don't get as much criticism because they're so fucking flawed and miserable that people are just like, I feel sorry for that poor dear. I want to make them happy, or at least that's my experience with the few Auntie Sue's I have now, to which are not Auntie Sue's anymore. Okay, a few of them are still, but who cares? I openly admit that I have had Mary Sue's and Auntie Sue's. I still have some Auntie Sue's. I still have some Mary Sue's. So who gives a shit? Like, the whole point in having a character is so that you can learn. You are learning to make a person. And a Mary Sue, yes, is ridiculously perfect, and it is frustrating as fuck. But it's a learning curve. And from my experience as someone who was once a child, and I know that I was drawing since the age of 4, I know I probably had a lot of Mary Sues from the age of whatever time I actually picked up a crayon or pencil, probably crayon, and started drawing characters and making up characters. I know for a fact I had imaginary friends who were so Mary Sue-ish that now myself as like a 20-year-old person is just like, holy fuck. 1, I was one damn lonely child, and 2, fuck. How did I survive that perfection? Because, oh my god, nobody's perfect. But it is a definite fact that when someone has a Mary Sue, they are either a kid or they're a grown-up. And for a general thing is learning how to make a character. And if you're a child, you are literally learning how to make a character. You are learning what you can do and what you can't do, and you're gonna better yourself after it. Of course, it's gonna take a while, and of course, at some point you might even box up the characters and be like, I don't need you anymore, and make a new one. I know for a fact that is what I did with a lot of my Mary Sues that I know of, because I don't remember a lot of them. I do know that I had a few of them. I had Carter. Carter was a Mary Sue, who was so Mary Sue. They, today, would make me cry to know that I made them. But, in general, having a Mary Sue is not bad at all. It's something you have to learn. Plus, there's also the fact, their story. The story they go into can actually change if they are actually a Mary Sue or not. Because I remember with the character, we're continuously bring up Carter. I remember Carter, I had so many stories for them, and for one fact I do know is despite how perfect they were, their life, from the story that I had, was actually kind of dumbing that down and dulling that perfection out and making them a bit more of a relatable person. They're still not relatable at all. I mean, I can't even read half the stuff that I wrote for them. But they weren't that much of a Mary Sue after that story. And, like, you can't just assume. Plus, I know for a fact that there are some Mary Sue characters that people love and adore, mostly because they are of someone, very popular, or of someone who has a TV show. I'm not gonna mention my show, but I know that a few of those characters are Mary Sue's. Definitely Mary Sue's. But, Mary Sues are everywhere, anti-Sues are everywhere. I mean, I think the worst characters are the blank slates, because you literally don't know what you're gonna do with them. Because they exist, they have no personality, they have no flaws, they just exist. And I think the most flaws that they have are their choice in clothing, or hairstyle, or the fact that maybe you decided to, not color in their eyes so they don't have eyes, or they're blind. Or whatever, that they're still a blank slate, there's nothing about them, just their appearance. And in my opinion, at the same time as saying those are the worst characters, they're also they're way easier to build off of. But in general, there's no constructive criticism still. As I said, for, art and learning how to do it, there's no constructive criticism. And at most, if someone's gonna Mary Sue, you just compliment things that actually make sense. Oh, the fact that they can talk to animals, that's neat. Or the fact that she knows how to, dress fashionably, that's great. The fact that, her weakness is boys, that's cool. It makes sense, especially with the fact that you also put her as a heterosexual, or a lesbian. A lesbian terrified of men, or heterosexual terrified of men. It's actually a thing, so don't care. But, like, it works. Just compliment the things that are actually good ideas. And if anything, if you're gonna want to complain about it, complain to yourself. Write it down, realize how shitty it is, and don't say it. That's another way to solve the problem. Don't say the shitty things you want to say, because 1, it's unkind. 2, it's ridiculous. 3, why? Why do you want to say so many mean things to someone? If there's either jealousy or just the right whole asshole movement inside of you, or you literally don't understand how to criticize people. And there's like the whole fact of a lot of people say, I gave a constructive criticism by typing in kill yourself. That's not criticism. That is actually a threat. That's a fucking threat. Like, no, that's a threat, man. That's a goddamn threat. Anyway, as the topic goes back, criticism is needed. It's better for it to be constructive, because at that point, at least someone gets that. You know what you're talking about, and you're not a dick. Of course, if they don't take it, don't bother talking to them again. If they're gonna be like, oh god, fuck you, you don't know anything, like, my character is perfect, or this is perfect, I'm better than all of you. Because honestly, someone like that, they're either a troll, never had constructive criticism before, or legit don't understand. Like, it's okay to criticize. It's not okay to insult. It's better to give some constructive criticism. And of course, don't be a dick. And that is all the time I have for talking right now. So like and or subscribe. Or look in the description for some links if you want to help me improve myself. Anyway, bye-bye, and enjoy the rest of this.